Still calming down at this point. What a wild one here in Pasadena. Ohio State entered this game minus nearly a fourth of its entire football roster. 20 players out due to injury or illness, plus 4 of the Buckeyes' best players opting to sit this game out and get ready for the NFL draft. What unfolded tonight was one of the strangest, most frustrating, yet wildly entertaining, inspiring, and even record-setting performances in Ohio State history. It is Buckeye bye week. That means buying rest time for Ohio State's two-headed running back attack. The numbers for Travion Henderson, not surprising, more than 6 yards per carry, averaging 87 yards per game. Not bad at all. But look at what Mayan Williams has done this season. 99 yards per game and nearly 8 yards per carry. That's second best in the nation right now. Henderson, of course, a 5-star recruit out of high school. Williams, a 3-star and a late addition to his recruiting class 3 years ago. Overlooked? No more. If you're just tuning in this afternoon, we obviously have quite a bit of new information out of that news conference from Columbus Police. First of all, Chief Elaine Bryant making a plea to the now suspect in this case, Nyla Jackson. You've already shown us you can do the right thing. Just call us and tell us where you are. We will pick him up. Obviously, the first concern here is the baby, 5 months old, Kassan Thomas, and the search for Kassan continues. His twin brother, Kyair, was found safe. Condition we don't know the extent of beyond a safe recovery of the baby. But again, as you go back to the timeline of events here, some questions to answer. Over the past 2 years, we have all learned the basics of virtual meetings. It became a necessity during the pandemic, but it also revealed a new path forward in terms of sharing information instantly. And in autism, those virtual learning opportunities can lead to real-life breakthroughs. Nationwide Children's Hospital has partnered with Autism Speaks and the Autism Treatment Network to create what it calls the Family Echo series.
Some people in the newsroom were saying they can't believe this one, Jerod.
This is a stunner out of nowhere. If today's news actually materializes, this will be Big Ten country, like the whole country. Consider, you're going to have road trips from the Atlantic Ocean with Rutgers and Maryland to the Pacific Ocean with USC and UCLA. Again, not a done deal yet, but we've learned Big Ten leaders meeting tonight to discuss the potential addition of the Trojans and the Bruins to the Big Ten. 10 months into a new 3-year contract, Columbus City School Superintendent Dr. Talisa Dixon says now is the time for her to step down. In her first interview since announcing she will retire, Dixon told NBC4's Colleen Marshall that although she has faced several challenges during her time at CCS, overall, it's been a good 4 years. Back live at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, where Cooper Kupp is the Super Bowl MVP for the Rams as they win the world title over the Bengals. But as a collective group, it was LA's defensive front which turned this game around. Bengals limited LA to 1 sack in the first half. Second half, a far different story. First play of the second half, a 75-yard touchdown for the Bengals. After that, not much. Aaron Donald, Von Miller and company, they started to get to the backfield, virtually every drop back for Joe Burrow. 5 sacks in the third quarter alone for the Rams. That is a Super Bowl record, and Burrow was clearly battered. His knee ailing, limped off the field several times, and now the Bengals turn toward a long offseason to figure out how to fix things up front.
I thought in the first half of this game, protection was tremendous.
Yeah, it's a classy way for the Bengals to handle that. Despite the constant pressure, Burrow still finished with a nice performance, 22 of 33 passing. He had the touchdown, no picks. Bengals have 3 sensational players on rookie contracts. You got Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. They got a feisty defense. They got plenty of cap room to try to boost that line in free agency. Perhaps that's what we'll be following here in the months ahead. Clearly, that could be the difference to get this team back to competing for a world championship in the years to come. It could perhaps be just the start of a nice long window for the Bengals. That'll do it here from Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. A final check of the forecast is next.
Nearly 800,000 people suffer a stroke each year.
Obviously, we're uniquely attuned to heart issues. 4 years ago, I suffered a stroke. I was 39 at the time. We recently met a young woman whose stroke survival story ended in ideal fashion due to some quick reaction. Very crowded for a Monday at the fair. It's been extraordinary, and obviously people taking advantage of the NBC4 Family Discount Day. You can too. You have until 6 o'clock to get down to the fair to get your discounted tickets.
Move it.
And then you can be here for the evening and enjoy all the rides, the attractions, the free entertainment.
All the foods.
It's going to be pretty outstanding.
All the delicious
We've been doing it all day.
I'm so full right now.
It's an issue. You're gonna see some of that coming up. We've got some really cool things I want you to know about the fair. Going back to the earliest days of the fair, this fair has been in this location in Columbus since 1886.
Wow.
It has grown into one of the most beloved state fairs in America. More than 150 food vendors are here, more than a third of them offering deep fried foods.
That's how I like my food.
We know.
Deep fried.
We have seen it all today, but it's a celebration.
Yeah.
It's a celebration of the state's food and agriculture industry. It is the top producing industry in Ohio.
Yeah.
$105 billion annually for the state's economy. It is big business and it's big fun.
It is fantastic.
The topic of autism raises so many questions. Good evening. I'm Jerod Smalley. For those of you who have not joined us over the years, we've gathered a group of experts in the field of autism to staff our Call 4 lines. They will be on hand throughout the program tonight, ready to take your call, answer any question you may have about autism, and you can reach them right now at 844-442-2554. That's 844-44-CALL-4. Now let's begin where every parent begins their journey with autism. It could be noticing an unusual behavior or having difficulty getting a child to speak. Perhaps that could lead to a diagnosis. And then parents ask, what now? Many parents turn into advocates for their own kids and kids everywhere. Well, children with autism grow into adults with autism, and those adults will enter a world filled with uncertainties. According to a study from Drexel University, 42% of people in their 20s with ASD are unemployed, and more than 40% of those with a job do not work for pay. Many people with autism are not employed at a level equal to their educational background. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, of adults with autism with a college education, 85% are unemployed. And then, of course, where do adults with autism live? 75% of adults with ASD live at home with parents or family caregivers. That's even as those parents reach their retirement age. Some groups of parents are aiming to solve the housing problem through community building. The pre-sale disaster for Taylor Swift's upcoming stadium tour, Ticketmaster was left singing, "It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me."
I get it.
It's from the new album.
I get it.
Hey, you guys! Another house made famous in a classic 80s movie is up for sale, but the owner says they won't sell to just anyone. What's next?
You nailed it.
One of the elements which sets this opening game apart from all the others, it's the coach on the other sideline. If you remember Marcus Freeman, the player, he was a monster. An all Big Ten pick, a draft pick of the Chicago Bears, partnered with James Laurinaitis to lead a defense which took Ohio State to the national title game 2 straight years. His meteoric rise as a coach has led him to one of the best jobs in the sport, the new head coach at Notre Dame, a wildly popular hire among both his players and the fan base there. And Saturday night, he will lead the Irish into the horseshoe for a scene unlike anything his players have ever experienced. And perhaps that's why odds makers continue to favor Ohio State by an increasing amount. Today, new point spreads show the Buckeyes favored by as much as 17 points. A lot of faith out there in the early reviews of Ohio State's renovated defense. Of course, Jim Knowles serving as the head coach of the defense now. Freeman's job is to get his kids to believe, and he'll use all the motivation he can get this week.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm going to write that down. You said 17.5 points, right? We'll use that in the team meeting today.
He's ready to be a head coach. He's already got a game under his belt. My head at 6. Marcus, of course, a defensive guy, even as a head coach. When he's looking at Ohio State, as he views the Buckeye offense, what you have to do to make it ineffective. Whitney Harding will be along at 6 to talk about that. He's very focused on one specific thing they have to take away. He'll tell you what that is coming up.
Oh, man, he's got a big chip on his shoulder, too.
Big job.
Yeah.
Sports director Jerod Smalley is on the field at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where the Buckeyes are due to arrive any moment now.
Well, good evening, Sierra. Ohio State arrives in this position here in Atlanta after 35 days of frustration, after all the work that went into the game plan to try to beat that team up north, the Wolverines, and it all went sideways. The Buckeyes did, however, get the bid and the opportunity to play for a national championship. And tonight on this field, a chance for redemption on one of the biggest stages in the sport. I want to show you what it looked like when the Buckeyes arrived here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium tonight. Watch Ryan Day. He is fired up, getting after it, getting the fans involved. They had a little team walk in the backyard area, they call it, the tailgate area for fans here at the stadium. As they walk in, C.J. Stroud and company, game face is on. We'll see if that materializes on the field tonight. Speaking of on the field, joined now by our Buckeye analyst, Coach Bill Conley, to go through keys to the game. We've talked about this game from every conceivable angle, but what does this boil down to for you?
Well, I think offensively, first of all, Jerod, we have to own the third quarter.
You might see a better video this week, but I doubt it.
Oh, my goodness.
East Coast getting hit by snow. This is a police dog in Vermont. On camera, doing his part for the cleanup there. Obviously, very, very good boy, doing it his very, very best. But you know what? Look, in all fairness to the dog, no opposable thumbs.
Right.
So you can't really grip
He's
the
kind of
shovel.
just spreading it around a little bit more.
You can't really get under the snow and
Yeah.
get the leverage you need.
Also, that's a big yard.
It is.
It's a lot of snow for such a small dog.
But let's commend the effort. You know,
Yeah,
let's keep the
I
positive
appreciate
here. You know,
He's got 4-paw drive too, so he's not.
you get what he did there? See, the dog has paws.
Yeah, they don't know. Now, if I could just get out of the shoveling.
Are you out?
bite-
Oh,
That's all it took? A bad joke?
sorry. Calling Jen's agent.
You act
He's
like
got
that. You act like that's just one joke. You've had like years of terrible jokes.
4-paw
Been
drive.
building.
I feel like I've reached my peak and got off the side.
That is peak Mazza.
I can only go down from here.
And that's what this is all about.
And what's really about is safety, because I don't want you to get run over by a marching band. But spectacular. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome back. Anyway, hey, we're in the parade. We're literally in the parade. Not sure we've ever done that one before.
I think we might get in trouble for that.
Billy, let's go.
It was all there in front of Billy Horschel. 5-shot lead, 18 holes. But Sunday at the Memorial rarely unfolds without drama. Aaron Wise playing in the final group, keeping the pressure on. A birdie at 11 cuts Horschel's lead to 2, but then Horschel's putter returned to save the day. Par saves at 13 and 14 to take the lead back to 3. And at 15, Horschel looked at an eagle putt from 53 feet away.
I knew I needed at least 2 putts to maintain a 3-shot lead with 3 to go.
Could it be an eagle?
Ice it on a cake, drop it in for an eagle, and have a 4-shot lead with 3 to go.
From there, Horschel kept his emotions in control. He actually keeps track of his heart rate using a wearable fitness device, training for moments like this one.
My heart wasn't beating very fast at all today. I was never really nervous, stressed out at all. Maybe when I made the eagle, it jumped up, but my heart and just the way I felt was pretty calm and relaxed out there all day.
The reward for controlling his heart, a handshake. Horschel taking a 4-shot victory.
Billy.
Jack.
I'll tell you one thing. How was that all around?
Thanks, buddy. I try to play around like you and Tiger would, just manage the game, put in the middle of the green, 2-putt, do nothing special.
You hit your best greens in regulation. If you weren't best in putting too, I would be very surprised.
Thank you.
Billy's performance on the greens this week wasn't even the best performance by a Horschel. You could say his 3-year-old son, Axel, stole the show. He was nearly on the 18th green, fired up to meet his dad right after he claimed victory of the Memorial. A $2.1 million payday, his 7th PGA Tour win, and one happy family. At Muirfield Village, Jerod Smalley, NBC4.